the heavy prices that we are paying these days for our flight tickets. And looks like, India's civil aviation sector has a brand new hero in town. And, new kid on the block, Akasa, has now beaten, old kid on the block, SpiceJet, with a larger market share with less than a year's existence in the market.
And add to that, the announcement that came yesterday, Krishna, Akasa pretty much stating that it is going to place new aircraft order, which are going to be 3-digit orders. So the minimum aircraft order that Akasa is likely to place is going to be 100 new aircraft. That's the minimum. It could be higher than that, but it said that it's going to make a 3-digit new aircraft order. And that I think is big news. But yeah, I think a 7.2% market share pretty much states that it has overtaken not just SpiceJet, but had Go Air been in the market, when Go Air ceased to exist in the Indian skies on the 3rd of May this year, it had a market share of about 6.8%. So Akasa at a 7.2% market share. Now, of course, with Go first out and the pie being distributed, hopefully, not equally, unequally among the remaining players.
Right, Indigo, because Indigo is a plus 60% market share, most dominant player.
63% or something. So yeah, I think Akasa has pretty much reaffirmed its position, its stated vision that we mean serious business, and we are taking this opportunity of the Indian skies being -1 player, and the other player, SpiceJet, also in troubled skies, not troubled waters, in troubled skies, in turbulent skies, despite the fact that yesterday, in fact, you had Ajay Singh announced that he is going to add a 500 crore fresh infusion into the debt-laden airline. But I think it is definitely good news for consumers that there is another serious player. There is Akasa Air, which with this new aircraft order, with an existing 7.2% market share, is going to start servicing new sectors. It's going to start flying new routes, and that should offer some competition to dominant players like Indigo, like the Air India, Vistara, Air Asia combined, and become another option, another choice available, which will drive down prices, which will give more flexibility for you to choose a flight of your liking at a time of your choosing.
Right, the rise of Akasa, Amit, is reminding me of, I'm hoping that India gets its own Ryanair equivalent, in the sense that both to fly within the Indian subcontinent and also take flyers out, and then the entire intention of that airline is to provide more flights to more options to more people and be different from the other airlines, so to speak.
Yeah. They have done this with 19 aircrafts right now. If Go comes in tomorrow, they're coming in with 26. So they need the new fleet of aircrafts to basically consolidate this lead that they have gotten right now.
Right.
So it is, the times to come are basically good for consumers, as I can suspect right now, with hoping Go comes into the market and basically adds to the competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we already have our Ryanair in Indigo, for that matter.
Yes.
I think Indigo is pretty much servicing a part of the international markets as well. It flies to Dubai, it flies to Bangkok, it flies to Singapore, it flies to, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of other geographies also in the subcontinent at least.
And it gives cost-effective solutions.
And it gives zero frills. You don't get your dinner on the flight, so you've got to pack your dinner and take the red eye.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, you have that option already, and with the new aircraft order already placed by Indigo, of course, that will be serviced over time, but it is going to expand its presence not just in India, but even outside the shores of India. So, if I were to sort of put my money on an airline which is going to be sustainable in the foreseeable future right now, despite the small glories of Akasa or the challenges that SpiceJet or Go First are facing right now, I think Indigo has been consistent, has sustained itself fairly well. It came pretty much as India's love airline, right? If you remember the Dallas-based Southwest airline, if I'm not mistaken, which had the heart logo, the red-colored heart logo, and it was the first no-frills, low-cost airline in the world. It operated on time. Indigo pretty much followed suit on all those parameters. It was no frills. It gave you a good array of menu to choose from if you wanted to spend money in the air and buy something, but it gave you nothing pretty much with your ticket. But it gave you assurance that we're going to fly on time, Indigo standard time. We're going to fly on time, we're going to take you to your destination, land on time, and you will not end up missing your business meetings or your family time or your vacation time because you're stranded on an airport because we weren't able to service you. So I think it came with that very definitive promise, won the trust of Indians, continued being a low-cost airline, did not add a premium to its offerings because it became an on-time airline, Indigo Standard Time as they used to call it. So I think it's pretty much lived up to those expectations, seen enough and more turbulence in the sector, and continues to still lead the Indian skies with a 63% market share. I think that's
No
the
doubt,
airline that
Karthik.
I think
No,
is going
absolutely
to
not.
be here for good.
What is really heartening is that even as that happens, we're hoping for more than one winner in this game, because look at the size of the market. This is a market where I don't think the most dominant airline should be having 60% plus market share. This is a market big enough for the most dominant airline to have about half of that and have enough and other players and other options for it.
Totally.
So in an ideal case scenario, if you ask me, Karthik, I'm very happy about Indigo continuing to be the most dominant player, but the market really expanding with more and more players.
So this is a subject
Akasa
that,
Air,
you're right. So, Amit and I love to discuss this. I think every second day we end up discussing duopolies in the Indian market.
Telecom, aviation.
Telecom, aviation, FMCG, everywhere. You see that right now we are at the cusp of
a duopoly at the
multiple
in the
sectors
skies.
commanding duopolies, and aviation is a prime example of that, right? You have the Tata Vistara, AirAsia combine and Indigo put together 85% plus of market share, right? So it is definitely a duopoly. Now I think the race is definitely between Tata Group and Interglobe Aviation that runs Indigo on who is going to expand faster, who is going to take India abroad faster, who is going to service more routes faster, and who's going to carry more passengers every day. So it won't be a monopoly. It will definitely be a duopoly in the foreseeable future. I don't right now see a third player coming in and disrupting this duopoly
Fair enough.
for at least the foreseeable future.